Have you ever felt like your heart was shattered into a million pieces? Like no matter what you do, the pain just won't go away? I'm going to share something that's more than just another breakup strategy. This isn't about playing mind games or waiting by your phone, hoping they'll come back. This is about something far more powerful, a transformation so profound that it'll make your ex wonder what the hell just happened. Forget everything you know about no contact. That's amateur hour. What I'm about to tell you is a psychological reset button. It's not about making someone miss you. It's about becoming so incredibly strong that the very idea of you becomes a mirror that reflects their biggest mistake. Imagine this: a man completely broken, drowning in pain, believing that no contact was his only lifeline. But then he discovered something different, something that wasn't about waiting or hoping, but about total personal revolution. This strategy isn't a trick. It's a complete reconstruction of yourself. By the time your ex realizes what they lost, you'll be so far beyond their reach that their regret will taste like dust. You won't be waiting. You'll be thriving, untouchable, unbreakable. We're not just talking about moving on. We're talking about rising up. Are you ready to stop being a victim and start being the architect of your own destiny? If you're tired of the pain, if you're hungry for real transformation, then pay attention. This is your moment. Hit that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications, and in the comments, declare your power. I control my destiny. Let's begin the most important journey of your life. Number 1, the fall. Have you ever been so in love that losing someone feels like losing yourself? Jake's world shattered in an instant. One moment, she was his everything. The late-night whispers, the inside jokes that made strangers feel like outsiders. The next, nothing. A cold, digital goodbye that sliced through his heart like a razor. His phone became a tomb of memories. Each unread message, each forgotten photo, a ghost of what used to be. He'd stare at the screen, searching for some hidden meaning, some explanation that would make sense of the senseless. But some stories don't have neat endings. The silence was deafening. His apartment transformed into a prison of memories. The coffee mug she'd left behind, the hoodie still hanging in his closet. Each object a painful reminder of a love that had evaporated without warning. He'd replay their final conversations in his mind, hunting for the moment everything fell apart. Was it something he said? Something he didn't? Desperation breeds bad advice. Go no contact, they told him. Make her miss you. So he did. Deleted her number, unfollowed her social media, locked away every trace of her existence. But here's the brutal truth. Blocking someone physically does nothing when they're living rent-free in your head. He was still waiting, still hoping, still broken. Every night he'd imagine her realizing her mistake, crawling back, begging for another chance. But fantasies are just that, fantasies. The world doesn't bend to our wishes, no matter how desperately we want it to. The real prison wasn't her absence, it was his own mind. He realized something dangerous. As long as his happiness depended on her return, he was giving her all the power. She had moved on. He was still stuck, a prisoner of his own making. No contact wasn't healing. It was just another form of obsession. True strength isn't about waiting. It's about walking away. And that's when everything changed. Number 2, the no contact rule, your unexpected path to freedom. Imagine this: you're sitting alone, phone in hand, heart shattered. She's gone. And everyone keeps telling you the same thing. Just go no contact. But what if I told you that silence is just the beginning? Listen closely. What I'm about to share These are the game-changing insights that most people won't tell you. The real, raw truth about moving on that cuts through all the typical breakup advice. No contact isn't just a strategy. It's a transformative journey, but only if you're willing to do the real work. Most people see it as a waiting game. They're wrong, dead wrong. Here's how most guys mess up. They use no contact like a cheap magic trick. Cut communication. Wait. Hope. They think if they stay silent long enough, she'll suddenly realize what she lost. Spoiler alert, that's not how human emotions work. Women have an emotional radar that's frighteningly accurate. They can sense desperation from a mile away. When you're using no contact as a manipulation tactic, you're not fooling anyone, especially her. Your silent treatment, she sees right through it. The real power isn't in the silence. It's in the complete, radical transformation of yourself. No contact becomes meaningful only when it's about your personal growth, not about getting her back. Most men treat no contact like a performance. They're acting strong while internally falling apart. But true strength? It's when you genuinely stop caring, not as a strategy, not as a performance, but as a fundamental shift in your entire being. Imagine reaching a point where her potential return doesn't even register as a blip on your emotional radar, where her absence becomes so irrelevant that you're genuinely shocked when she might reach out. That's real power. That's true freedom. The most critical revelation. This journey was never about her. It was always about you becoming unreachable, not just physically, but emotionally. When you truly internalize that, everything changes. And here's the most important thing I'll say in this entire message. Pay attention. Your healing isn't a destination. It's a continuous process of choosing yourself every single day. No contact isn't a trick to win someone back. It's your personal revolution. When you finally understand that, you'll realize something profound. You don't need her to validate your worth. You are complete, entirely on your own. Number 3. The anatomy of letting go. Silence is a lie we tell ourselves when we're still holding on. I used to believe that not reaching out was enough, that my silence would make her miss me, make her realize what she'd lost. But silence is just another form of caring. It's a whisper that says, I'm still waiting, I'm still hoping. True power isn't found in waiting, it's found in forgetting. The moment of transformation came when I realized every thought about her was another chain keeping me trapped. She wasn't just in my past, she was occupying real estate in my mind, rent-free. And that's when I chose something radical, not silence, not revenge, something far more devastating, complete indifference. This wasn't about playing games, this was about genuine detachment. I didn't block her, I didn't dramatically announce my departure. I simply moved on, completely. Her existence became as irrelevant to me as a stranger's passing on the street. I stopped checking her social media, stopped wondering who she was with, stopped leaving any door open for potential reconciliation. My life wasn't a waiting room for her potential return. The brutal truth. People don't crave what they can ignore. They crave what they can't control. At first, she didn't notice. Another guy playing another predictable game of heartbreak performance art. But slowly, something shifted. My absence wasn't a strategy. It was a genuine state of being. I wasn't suffering. I wasn't plotting. I was living. When she finally looked, she saw someone unrecognizable. Not the broken man she expected. Not the desperate soul trying to win her back. But someone who had genuinely moved beyond her. Suddenly the tables turned. Why doesn't he look broken? Why isn't he trying to win me back? Did I make a mistake? Doubt crept into her world. The certainty she once had, that I would always be available, always be waiting, evaporated. And in that moment of uncertainty, she understood the most important lesson. Indifference isn't just a strategy, it's liberation. But here's the truth. Indifference is just the beginning. The real shift happens in the next points, where I'll reveal the most powerful strategy of all. If you think this was important, trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. If you're ready to step into your power, hit the like button, subscribe, and comment. I am untouchable. Let's keep going. Number 4. The psychology of desire. When walking away becomes power, imagine thinking you've won, only to discover you've just started losing. She believed her departure was a triumph. In her mind, he would crumble, another desperate man begging for her return, proving that love is some negotiable transaction. But some stories don't follow the expected script. He vanished, completely. Not just physically, but from her entire emotional landscape. While she celebrated her newfound freedom, dancing through new experiences and potential connections, something strange began brewing beneath the surface. The silence wasn't what she anticipated. No desperate texts, no late-night calls, no digital breadcrumbs of longing. Suddenly the game changed, and she didn't see it coming. Human desire is a complex algorithm. We don't want what's available, we crave what might slip through our fingers. When she realized he wasn't performing the traditional heartbreak routine, curiosity replaced her confidence. The man who once worshipped her had transformed into an enigma, and nothing is more magnetic than an unsolvable mystery. Each unanswered message became a psychological trigger. Her casual likes, her calculated "hope you're doing well" texts. They weren't about reconnection. They were power plays, subtle probes testing whether she still existed in his world. But he understood something profound. True power isn't about reaction. It's about indifference. He had become the prize, not through manipulation, but through genuine self-worth. When she finally reached out, expecting to find the same wounded soul she left behind, she encountered something entirely unexpected. A version of him completely unanchored to their past, cold, detached, uninterested. The most devastating rejection isn't dramatic confrontation, it's complete emotional erasure. And in that moment, she understood a truth that would haunt her. Sometimes, walking away means losing everything, including the ability to be missed. Number 5. The Stoic Transformation. When pain becomes your greatest weapon. You think heartbreak breaks you, but what if it's actually your moment of creation? There was a time he would have begged, chased, analyzed every tiny interaction like it was a lifeline, desperate for a sign, any sign that she still cared. But that version of himself died the moment he chose transformation. Pain isn't your enemy, it's your drill sergeant. Most men let pain destroy them. They curl up, they obsess. They become smaller with each moment of suffering. But some men see pain differently. They see it as raw material, something to be forged, reshaped, transformed into pure power. Stoicism isn't just a philosophy, it's a survival manual. He stopped running from his pain and started running toward himself. The gym became his temple. Each weight, each rep was a declaration. I am rebuilding myself. His body changed. His mind rewired. His entire energy shifted. Emotional control became his superpower. He studied the ancient warriors who turned adversity into advantage. He learned that true strength isn't about never feeling pain. It's about refusing to be defined by it. Every moment of heartbreak became a lesson, every drop of suffering fuel for his transformation. The most dangerous thing you can do is underestimate a man who has nothing left to lose. People started noticing, not because he was seeking attention, but because he no longer needed it. The same individuals who once overlooked him now watched, wondering what fundamental shift had occurred. This isn't about revenge. This is about resurrection. The woman who thought she could replace him now watches from a distance, realizing she never truly knew him. Because the real victory isn't making someone regret losing you. It's becoming someone they could never possess in the first place. Pain doesn't happen to you. Pain happens for you. If this resonates, you're not just listening, you're preparing for your own transformation. Number 6. Silent power. The art of unspoken victory. Imagine a transformation so profound that your silence becomes your loudest statement. There was a time when he was weak, desperate for her attention, craving validation, posting cryptic messages hoping she'd notice. Every social media update was a plea, every achievement a performative dance designed to prove his worth. But weakness recognizes itself, and true strength emerges when you stop performing. Silent domination isn't about revenge. It's about evolution. He learned that the most dangerous energy isn't loud or aggressive. It's quiet, calculated, unstoppable. While others scream about their progress, he simply becomes it. No explanations, no drama, just relentless personal growth. His absence became his most powerful weapon. She expected anger, bitterness, desperate attempts to win her back. Instead, she encountered something far more unsettling: complete indifference. No blocked connections, no dramatic deletions, just a complete energetic withdrawal that spoke volumes without uttering a single word. Doubt started to consume her. Why isn't he watching? Why doesn't he care? Each unanswered question became a psychological knife, cutting deeper than any confrontation could. She began mentioning his name in conversations, checking his social media, searching for any sign that he still cared. But what she found was more terrifying than she could have imagined. He wasn't just surviving, he was transforming. Better physique, sharper focus, a presence that radiated confidence without saying a word, and the most brutal realization: he wasn't looking back. Not even for a moment. Regret started to poison her thoughts. While she was distracting herself with meaningless interactions, he was becoming the exact person she had always wanted, but could never have again. The ultimate power move isn't proving someone wrong. It's making them realize they were never significant to your journey. Energy speaks louder than words. Success doesn't need an announcement. People feel it. They recognize it. And by the time she tries to reach out, hoping to reconnect with the man she once knew, she'll understand a brutal truth. He's already gone, evolved, unreachable, and that's the real victory. But this isn't the final step. If you think this was powerful, what's coming next will be the real game changer. You've come this far. Don't stop now. The next points will reveal what separates the ordinary from the unstoppable. Number 7. The Art of Becoming Unreachable. Imagine a moment when your pain becomes your power, when walking away isn't about running, but rising. He first considered total disappearance, the classic escape route, a clean break, leaving her drowning in unanswered questions. But true transformation isn't about vanishing, it's about becoming something she can't comprehend. Absence is predictable, mystery is magnetic. He didn't block her, didn't post desperate attempts to prove his worth. Instead, he rewrote the entire script of heartbreak. From an open book to an encrypted message, He became something far more dangerous, unpredictable. Each social media post became a calculated whisper, a photo from a mountain peak, a cryptic line from a book. No explanations, no context, just fragments of a life rebuilding itself, fragments that would make her mind spin. Psychological warfare isn't about revenge. It's about reclaiming your narrative. Women are hunters of emotional subtext. When a man changes without explanation, something primal awakens. The questions start flooding in. Who is he now? What changed? Her curiosity becomes an invisible thread pulling her back again and again. She'll refresh his profile, analyze every pixel, search for clues in the spaces between his posts. But she'll find nothing, just a man who looks increasingly unbothered, increasingly free. The real power. He isn't performing this transformation for her. He's doing it for himself. This isn't about making her regret. This is about never needing her validation again. People are drawn to what they can't solve. Mystery isn't a strategy, it's a state of being. When you stop explaining yourself, you become fascinating. When you stop seeking approval, you become unstoppable. And the most beautiful revenge? Becoming someone who doesn't need to prove anything to anyone. Number 8. The silent triumph. When she comes crawling back, she will reach out. Not today, not tomorrow, but eventually. It starts small. A casual message, a story view, a random like on an old photo. Most men see these as opportunities. They're wrong. These are calculated moves, subtle tests designed to probe your emotional landscape. Imagine the scene. Your phone lights up. Her name appears. Your heart might race, but not like before. This time you're different. She's not reaching out because she misses you. She's reaching out to confirm her power over you, to see if you're still an option, to validate that she can still pull your strings with a single message. Most men crumble instantly. They see her name and suddenly forget every lesson learned, every moment of personal growth. They respond with desperate eagerness, masked as casual coolness. But desperation always shows, not you. You've spent too long rebuilding yourself to collapse at the first digital breadcrumb. You understand the game, and you're no longer playing. When she asks, "How have you been?" your response is a calculated weapon of indifference. Good. No elaboration, no invitation. Just a period at the end of a sentence that speaks volumes. Watch what happens next. Her confidence starts to crack. Where she expected vulnerability, she finds solid ground. Where she anticipated chasing, she encounters a wall. Suddenly, she's the one questioning everything. Does he still think about me? Did I make a mistake? Who is he now? The power dynamic shifts. Completely, effortlessly. She believed she could waltz back into your life on her terms. Instead, she discovers something terrifying. You've moved beyond her, beyond the past, beyond needing her validation. This isn't about revenge. This is about liberation. True strength isn't proving her wrong. It's realizing you no longer need to prove anything at all. Number 9. The untouchable. There's a moment of metamorphosis when a man realizes his freedom isn't about her, it's about him. Suddenly, the weight lifts. Her name becomes just another word. Her memory, a faded photograph tucked away in some forgotten drawer. He doesn't hate her. He doesn't miss her. She simply no longer exists in the landscape of his consciousness. This is transformation. Raw, unfiltered, complete. Most people misunderstand healing. They think it's about revenge, about proving something. But true power, it's indifference. It's walking away without looking back, without a single glance over your shoulder. She once believed she could return, that somewhere a part of him would always be waiting, that the door would remain cracked open, just a sliver, just enough for her potential comeback. But when she finally turns around, she finds nothing. Not anger, not pain, just empty space where her memory used to live. He has become something else entirely, a version of himself she wouldn't recognize, not because he changed for her, but because he changed for himself. The psychological warfare she expected, non-existent. The dramatic confrontation she imagined, never happening. Instead, there's just silence. A silence so profound it echoes louder than any words could. Every attempt she might make to reconnect becomes a message sent into the void. No response, no reaction. Just complete, absolute silence. This isn't about winning. This isn't about proving a point. This is about understanding that some chapters close so completely that reopening them becomes impossible, not through force, but through genuine soul-deep transformation. He doesn't need closure because he's already closed the book. He doesn't seek validation because he's already validated himself. His strength isn't in what he does, it's in what he no longer feels compelled to do. And the most devastating revelation: the story was never about her. It was always about his journey, his growth, his becoming. True liberation isn't found in defeating an opponent. It's found in forgetting there was ever a battle to begin with. Number 10. New reality, transcending the past. There's a moment when a man becomes untouchable, not through anger, not through revenge, but through complete, radical transformation. This is the moment he realizes his worth isn't negotiable. His value isn't determined by her, by anyone, only by himself. The past becomes a distant landscape, blurry and irrelevant. He doesn't fight for recognition anymore. He doesn't prove anything. He simply exists, powerful, centered, completely free. Every scar becomes a story of survival. Every painful memory transforms into fuel for his evolution. He doesn't hide from his history. He metabolizes it, turning wounds into wisdom. The world sees him differently now, not because he changed how he looks, but because he changed how he sees himself. Confidence isn't something you wear, it's something you become. She never expected this version of him, the man who walks into rooms without needing to announce himself. The man whose silence speaks louder than any desperate plea or dramatic confrontation. When she looks back, expecting to find him waiting, hoping he's still attached, still wounded, she discovers something shocking. He's not there. Not because he blocked her, not because he's playing games. He's simply gone. Gone means something profound here. It means he has expanded beyond the narrow boundaries of their shared history. Gone means he has created a reality where she is nothing more than a footnote, a lesson learned, not a wound to be nursed. This isn't about winning. This is about liberation. True power isn't about proving you're better. It's about reaching a state where comparison becomes meaningless, where her existence barely registers in the landscape of his consciousness. She is trapped in memories. He is building futures, and that indifference becomes his most potent statement. Not a word spoken, not a drama enacted, just pure radical evolution. The strongest transformation happens in silence, where no one is watching, where no one needs to be impressed. Because the ultimate victory? It's not about her. It's about becoming so profoundly yourself that nothing else matters.